Hey YouTube, it's Andy. Today I'm bringing you the HK USP 45 review. This is my favorite gun of all time, as you all know, the USP series, from the full size all the way down to the compact. My personal choice for a nightstand gun, this one seems to be that. The compact version that I showed you in my first video of the 9mm, that one is my personal choice for concealed carry. I believe these are the best guns ever made as of now. Even though they are rather old now, almost 20 years old, they might not be the best gun for you or for everyone else, but I do believe that they are the most reliable, the most durable, and dependable, also with very good recoil mitigation. And the 90s just says a lot. I was born in 86, so I grew up in the 90s playing Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation, loving the Ninja Turtles, the band Nirvana, some Pizza Rolls, Terminator 1, Terminator 2. And this is the time that was before everybody had a cell phone or a smartphone. It was a great time, except for Bill Clinton's assault weapons ban. That was pretty pathetic, as we see now in the future. So I missed a lot on the first USP compact review, my very first review. There's a lot of things I missed. For one, this firearm does have a lanyard loop area you can attach a lanyard to. Those are popular on military or law enforcement type pistols. The slide serrations, I really didn't talk about those, but I do think that they're perfect. If I could have these on any pistol, a 1911, a Glock, a M&P, you name it, this is my favorite design. They are fairly deep, fairly spread out, but each ridge is very grippy, but not being too abrasive when you have to reholster it. What else did I... Oh yeah, it does, this barrel, which by the way is Cannon grade steel. In fact, each barrel, whenever you want to buy a new stock barrel, without it even being threaded, just the stock one that comes in a pistol, it's about $300 after shipping if you buy it off hkparts.com. And that's because it's polygonally grooved, which is great for overall dependability, reliability, and wear. They take forever to wear. Also, there's increased pressure behind them. And I'll show you the barrel here in a minute. But also, they are heat treated. They're some of the hardest barrels. In fact, a lot of companies won't even thread them. They're that hard. You can't even send them off to be threaded for a silencer. And that's why whenever H&K for the military was testing the USP barrel and platform, they even tried to block the barrel off with a little bit larger caliber or squib load. Then they shot a bullet right behind the squib load, and it barely even made a noticeable bulge. And it still retained combat accuracy after that. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble this pistol. So what we do is, while it's back, and you see that there's a ridge, you get this middle part right to where you can start to push this out from the other side. Right there. And you pull out the slide stop pin, and the whole top part comes off. And I didn't touch on this either as much as I would have liked to. This recoil reduction system, it's a two-part spring, but it's really a three-part recoil mechanism, because right here, when this pin is in there, it actually rubs. Some of the recoil slides and slaps right there and is absorbed through the metal itself. But then this spring, as the slide compresses on this spring and it comes back, it eventually hits this other spring right here, which is super tight, and it's a really hard spring. So we got a soft spring, which is mainly for bringing the slide back home, even if there is like sand in there and obstruction. But this inner spring is really what takes the abuse off of the frame. And let's take a look at the Cannon grade steel barrel. That is the highlight of the H&K. A good barrel is a good barrel. And sorry guys, this is hard with the camera, but you can see that it's just extra care is taken with this barrel. You also can tell the use of the life of the USP by how worn it is. I want to make mention too, you can see there's kind of like little ring chatters on the barrel. You can tell this was used quite extensively. You can also see the wear up top. Let's see if I can get these lights in here. Okay, you can't see in there really, but there we go. You can see the wear inside of there. Also on the pin. The recoil assembly itself. Just want to look, see how worn that is. This was used pretty extensively by a police officer through practice and things like that. Oh yeah, also the chamber shroud. See how there's that line? That's classic of the H&K pistol. I do know a guy who, talking about fully supported chambers, he was into reloading and he decided he was going to reload the 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge. Well, on one of them he accidentally double charged it with powder, and on a Glock it ended up bulging on the frame. He says it could have blew his hand off. He felt the explosion, but right here where the barrel's locking up with the Glock, it actually bulged, and he always talked about how after that he wanted a gun with a fully supported chamber. And as I was talking to him about the USP, recommending that to him. Yeah guys, like I say, this it breaks down so easy that, and I know there's pistols that break down easier, but this one I do believe is great. You totally can feel the quality in it as you're handling it. Oh, I do want to make mention too, I always forget about this, but you can see the recoil reduction, everything is perfectly fit into here. This recoil reduction spring, it locks in there just like that. And I just kind of want to give you guys a little view of that. It's very simple, and some people think that the slide rails are kind of anemic on there, but the whole inner workings, there is metal in there. Even this transfer bar is metal. I do think that double action to single action is the way to go, especially as far as safety, and I'm going to go over that here in a minute. I'm all about safety. Safety is my number one thought and concern, especially when it comes to firearms. There's far too many accidents just by sheer negligence, carelessness, not thinking, being intoxicated, you name it. I mean, there's just so many things that can happen. But the double action to single action is superior in the sense that I'm able to put a round in the chamber. I just slammed a mag in, just pulled the slide back, I got a round in the chamber. So I'm getting ready to holster this appendix right in front of my crotch. So I decock it, and then I just push up on that, and then whenever I shove it down into my holster, it's perfectly safe because the trigger cannot be engaged by like a piece of t-shirt filling this gap or something accidentally. You know, you have to pull it out of your holster, do that, and then you got a long trigger pull. I do think that that is perfect. I think it's very safe. You hear all these tactical people, all these Glock tards, they're like, oh, well, I just don't need a safety on my gun, just another thing to fail and things like that. No, it's actually one extra layer of protection, especially if there's children around or anything, just careless people around. I mean, if you have a nightstand gun, and of course there are some guns out there that you're not really going to keep locked up, you want to be able to access them instantly, center console gun, if you've got that extra layer of protection, that's way better than not having anything. Just a really soft, light trigger pull can be dangerous. And see, this can still be very tactful. See, so whenever there's a round chambered, first of all, this long trigger pull is not accurate. This long trigger pull right here, see? Because when there's a round in there, it actually half cocks like that, and it's actually way smoother and a little shorter. Reset, I love. I think that's a great reset there. But look how light this is. Look, clear wall right there. There's the wall. And then, guys, I do think that is excellent. That's why it's one of my favorite pistols of all time. It definitely is. So look here, we also have options. A 20 round 45 caliber magazine made by ProMag, only like $35. There's a little rattle to it, no big deal. It's more of a range mag or home defense mag. These standard magazines have 12. It's a 12 round standard mag. They're very durable. That's why they have a puzzle piece cut welded right here instead of a lip right here. So they can be ran over, slammed down. That's why there's the rubber butt pad too right there with a finger extension. Kind of adds a little bit of extra grip there. Or if it's falling out of your hand, you can kind of move your pinky down. It's very tactical. I think 12 rounds is definitely enough. It's very accurate, although I don't have any targets to show you at the time. I will more than likely have a second part 2 video of range footage and anything I forgot. The ergonomics, like I say, the controls, the trigger, the sights, everything is, to at least my expectations, pretty well. It did come with glow-in-the-dark tritium night sights, because it was a law enforcement gun, and they are pretty amazing, although over time they start to lose their glow, but no big deal. You can always change them out, guys. As far as any accessories, you do have to use the H&K proprietary accessories that fit on their rail system here. It doesn't have the Picatinny 1913 rail. Some people think that's a bad thing, but I don't mind even paying a little extra and getting H&K proprietary accessories. You know, the value of this, I only paid $425. Yeah, it's a little bit beat up, you can tell, but it still functions flawlessly and is very accurate. You can see little scratches there. All throughout the frame, it's a little beat up at the bottom. You can kind of see the scratches. I think it adds nostalgia, and it kind of is reminiscent of, you know, maybe a cop was rolling around on the concrete with like a suspect, or, you know, trying to save somebody's life and it's bouncing off a doorway or cabinet, or it kind of just adds that extra nostalgia to it. And as you know, all H&K pistols have the best finish of the market. They call it a hostile environment finish. That's a nitride finish, and also all the internals are coated with the Dow Corning anti-corrosion chemical treatment. Guys, I want to thank you. This, like I said, is my all-time favorite pistol. It has stood the test of time. Hey guys, I did forget to mention that you actually can chamber a round in this handgun with the safety up, which is another great safety feature. I didn't want to forget to mention this. So the safety is up right now, and I just chambered a round, as you'll see now. And I'm going to dechamber it, like I'm just pulled it out of my holster and I'm getting ready to put it away in the nightstand for the night. Safety's still up. Very, very safe gun.